morning. It is Thursday, December 26th. This is Tiffany with Beyondswatches. It is a semi-early 7:15-ish a.m. I'm getting ready for work. I'm making my coffee back there. It is brewing, and it's a recap day. So I'm gonna scroll through my Instagram. We're gonna sip on some coffee, walk down memory lane, and figure out what I want to do different into the new year and what am I proud of this year. So let's have a chat. So 2024. 2024, it started off, I don't remember exactly how I felt, but it didn't end that great for us. You know, we had a death in our family, my immediate family at that. So that's never fun and never a good way to end the year, but life is what it is sometimes. I love this little cup. I actually got this cup when I used to sell Avon many gazillions of years ago, and it so accurately depicts me, especially when I was raising my kids and they were little. I've been thinking about this 2024 recap video for a couple of weeks now, trying to figure out how did I want to approach this. So I don't necessarily want to just do a recap, which of course this is, but I also want to kind of see where I should be very proud of me and what do I want to see different in the new year of knitting. So let's go ahead and get started. So I will go ahead and put some pictures up as I knit through them. Scrolling through my Instagram right now, because this is how we're going to recap what we did. So January of 2024 is what I'm looking for. And I have a video. Oh, wow. The video right before my January video was working on the same Hjarta dress in the other color. So I'll try to put the actual video up, but that's what the colors used to look like. It looks like such a different dress, right? Oh my gosh. So, and I was purling the color work section, which is how the pattern was written. And I didn't like it then. I didn't like it now. And so I didn't do it. But anyway, so that was last year, December 22nd of last year. So first project of 2023 that I started was the Arctic LITE sweater. I actually casted it on. I bought some yarn, Black Friday yarn, which I did this year too. It was actually the Premier Basics DK. And oh, as an FYI, it's on sale right now. So I don't know if you want to plan for future projects and things like that, but it's like $2.24 a ball for I think the DK and the chunky. I can't remember what else, but a lot of stuff was like under $3. So go click on the link down there, grab my Linktree and go get the Premiere and go get you some yarn. So that was the Arctic LITE sweater. It is a pattern by Kitoba Kika. There's no reason other than the fact that it got hot in the summer and then I started working on my dress in the winter that I have not finished this sweater. I am literally on the last sleeve. So I'm hoping that I will get this finished this year. Well, excuse me, 2025, because I have only a few rounds to go. Like I'm almost done. So that's that. Quite a few, I'm looking at quite a few posts about this Arctic LITE sweater. And one of the things that I wanted to learn with that pattern specifically was charts. I did not know that there were going to be so many charts. There were 3 charts to follow, A, B, and C, all doing different things at different times, and it was definitely a learning curve. I knew once I saw the pattern in writing, when you see the picture, you're just like, oh my God, I want that thing. But when you see the pattern, it's like, okay, maybe I don't want it that much, right? Because it's a lot of words, it's diagrams and charts, and it's just looking a little extra. This pattern was looking very daunting. However, she has it split out to where your size has its own chart, and your size per section has its own chart. So yes, I had to flip back and forth through my tablet to each page, but I told myself, take your time, and I did. I took a lot of time. I made quite a few mistakes. I learned how to drop down in a cable, like undo the cable and just fix the cable, get it twisted back in the right direction or whatever the error might be. That was an interesting find. And I didn't go into it knowing that I knew how to do it, but I went into it saying, this is nothing more than fixing a drop stitch and rearranging stitches. So just take your time and do what you know how to do. And my goodness, if it didn't work. So I'm very proud of that. Not getting discouraged by what I don't know, and still finishing, fixing, and figuring out a way to get to the end result. So it's like I'm right at the finish line, just like my dress. I am right at the finish line. I can't give up now. So that was project number 1 for 2024. It is still on the needles a whole year later, but hopefully we'll get it done soon. The second project I casted on was another Katova Kika pattern, and this was the Lola top. It is a striped cardigan, a striped tank top. And I did actually finish this. I'm sure as I keep scrolling, I'll figure out when I finish, but the Lola top pattern, easy enough, very easy actually. It's knit flat front and back, and then you join for the at the underarm, and then you knit it in around, which is it's fine. It's very easy. The issue that I have with this pattern is, as a finished garment, I don't like the sleeves. The way the sleeves are now, I could have picked up too many stitches. I could have picked up less stitches and it would have made it better, but it does a bowing thing. And if you're a plus size chested person, I don't need any gappage around here. So I never really went back to see how I could fix it. I might try to rediscover that one day, but it's hanging in the closet. I do still wear it. It's just not something that I reach for on a regular basis. It's really one of those things that I don't mind throwing on in the house when I'm cleaning up on a Saturday or something like that, you know, but not something I feel proud enough to wear outside because I don't like the way the straps fit. A part of me also thinks that maybe, just maybe, I didn't knit it long enough, like on that front section, but I vaguely remember me following all of the directions, so not really sure what happened there, but you know, not every pattern is going to be a win. I also think the yarn that I used might have played a factor. That was that Happy Place yarn. It's a cotton and wool blend. Really good quality yarn. I just don't think it was made for this shirt. I feel like I don't know how to describe it. It feels good to wear, but the structure of it just wasn't doing what I needed it to do, maybe. I don't really know. I didn't like the end result of the sleeves. It was fine connecting the tops, but once I added the actual, you see the little shaping there, it just didn't sit right. I don't know. It was just weird. The next thing up on my list was January 26th, and I started the Pimpom Shawl. This was a test knit for Laura Penrose of Penrose Knits. The only reason I actually signed up for this test knit, because if you remember maybe last year or the year before, I'm not a real big test knit person because I don't like the feeling of being rushed. I don't like certain people's test knits are not run very well, so you feel like you're in a competition more than a group of like-minded friends, you know. So, but this test group was fun. I had a lot of fun in there. We were all sharing our colors and sharing our progress and cheering each other on. It was really, really a good experience. So she had her pattern in the Google Docs, so that's how she kept the updates going. I try really hard to approach every test knit as a beginner if that's who it's catered to, because there's a lot of things that sometimes maybe designers don't, that they may take for granted when it comes to knitting. So I don't think there was anything in this pattern that was not well explained. I think a lot of us did struggle a little bit with the I-cord edging that was built in. So I think somewhere in the pattern it was either mentioned. I think the counts were not including the I-cord edging, but then at some point they were. I can't really remember. Eventually we all got to the end and I gifted that to my husband's grandma. Well, anyway, if you're in the community, you understand we adopt relatives. So it's his best friend's grandmother, which in turn is his grandma too. So I gave it to her as a gift to her. She's like 92 years old or something, and I wanted her to have something. She's always cold, he said. So I made that for her and gifted it to her, and she loves it, which I don't know anyone of the older generation who doesn't appreciate anything that's handmade for them. So I was very happy to give it to her. Oh, my YouTube anniversary is on February 2nd. So keep that in mind. We'll have to do a video and recap on that. I'm still scrolling through. I'm just looking at a bunch of pictures. I really was working very heavily on my Arctic Light sweater at this point. Very heavily, because that's all that I'm seeing in my feed right now. Okay, then I started February 24th. Oh my God, I should be embarrassed. February 24th, I started that Cable Crush hoodie for my daughter. I just finished it. It's so sad. But it gets hot. You don't need a sweater or a hoodie in June in North Carolina. So anyway, I started it February 24th. The Cable Crush hoodie, that is by Knititude, and one of my favorite designers. Very when I say basic, I don't mean it in a bad way. Basic as in, like, this is a Knititude design pattern, and it's a basic sweater, right? Like, it's a raglan. It doesn't have any short rows. You can add them if you want. It is technically reversible because it doesn't have any short rows. It is a long sleeve pattern. And yeah, so basic, like, this is the thing that I reach for all the time, and I literally do. As soon as it got cold, I started pulling this out the closet all the time. This yarn is the Stockinette Beginner Raglan Light. We'll talk about this later in the video, I think, because I finished it this year. So let's not go there. The Cable Crush hoodie was made in the Woolies yarn, which I think was the recommended yarn. In either case, that's what I made it out of. It was my intention was to make one for her and one for me. Hers in that antler color, which is like a oatmeal-y color, like a grayish brownish color, and then mine was like a pure cream. But as I started working on hers and I got to the part of the bat wing, it's a bat wing shape. I wasn't feeling that on my body. I felt like it wasn't going to give me the desired effect. So I do still want to make me one, but I think when I do mine, I'm going to do some math and figure out how to just make it straight instead of making it like this, like a bat wing. I don't want that across my head. I just don't need that. So that was the one that I started. That was in February of 2024. Next up, remember if this was for the time change or if it was just because I felt like doing it, but we were supposed to be meeting for a knit and chat live, and I can't remember, something happened that day and I wasn't able to do it because I couldn't get back home in time. But don't ask me what it was because I don't remember, but that was supposed to be happening and it did not. Let's see. And then March 26th, I coined the phrase springathon. So my springathon was for beginner knitters who have never made their sweater, or knitters who wanted to make their first sweater. And I started that pattern with the free pattern. It's by Tin Can Knits, It is the flax sweater, pretty popular sweater pattern. I don't know if that helps or hurts, but it was causing a glare. But the flax sweater is pretty popular. They actually have an app. So if you're interested in tin can knits, anything, all of their free patterns are in the app. If you purchase any of their patterns, they download into the app, or you can put it there or something. Really well-written patterns. They have a lot of detail without being too much. In the app, customize it to see only what you need for your size, is what I'm trying to say. And that's really cool because you don't have to worry about counting in, like, how many stitches do I need to do? The app does it for you. So normally, let's say you cast on 60 stitches for a small, 80 for a medium, or something like that. Instead of having to always count in on a pattern, the app allows you to just choose your size in the beginning, and all of the numbers you see are specifically for that size. So that's really nice. Also with their app, which is really cool, it links to a lot of their resources, which are totally free. So things like gauge swatching, that's a really good article. Things like choosing your needle size, that was a good article. I used a lot of their references for the Springathon group so that we could kind of learn how to navigate and read a pattern in understanding what a designer is trying to tell you. That was that. So that started on, did that start April 20th, y'all? I can't remember. But the call out for it went out March 27th. Oh, so this wasn't a make, but it was a purchase. And I had seen on Knitting Traditions, and I think NE Knits also had the Knitting Swans project bags, and they were so cute. So I ordered them. I ordered one or two. I think I got two, and I love them. I really, really love them. Like, they're big, they're functional, they're good quality. They're like a nice thick cottony canvasy type fabric, but it doesn't feel stiff, so it's really nice. It's quilted, it has pockets all around the inside, it's a drawstring, it's a beautiful bag. However, as project bags go, it's a little pricey. It's coming out of the UK, and then there was shipping. So the day that I ordered it, she happened to have free shipping worldwide, and I'm like, absolutely. If you're anything like me, I don't like paying for shipping, and I know that things have to get to you, but I also am a person that believes I gave you $100. The least you could do is cut some of your commission and just ship it to me for free. I mean, that's just my own personal opinion. Don't judge me too hard, but I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on that one. After that, I then casted on my half and half wrap, the pink and white one. I casted that one on May 18th, and that one, I think I finished the first side, which was the pink side. I finished that in about 6 weeks, I think. It's a well-known pattern as far as patterns go. There was a period of time where everybody was making one, and at that point I had only made one, and people were like on their fourth and fifth one. So I casted on another one. I wanted to use up some of this yarn that I purchased from Pearl Soho, which is the linen quill yarn. Wanted to use it up because I bought it, but it wasn't going to work for the project that I wanted to use. But I love the yarn and the warmth that you get without the bulkiness of like a heavy, yarn. So I casted that on what did I say, May 18th. And in between all of this, just so you know, I'm still working on everything. The Arctic Like sweater's getting worked on, that tank top was getting worked on, the shawl was getting worked on, like everything was getting worked on because I'm scrolling past different posts with me on it. Oh, June 2nd is the day I frogged my dress. Sorry, I had to let the kitty cat in. She was outside. So June 2nd of 2024, I frogged my dress. and I was really depressed. I have a whole video about it. I have a whole video about it if you want to go back and mourn with me. However, it was a learning lesson, and I was disappointed. I was very, very, very disappointed. And even now, as I'm finishing this dress, I do mourn the other one because I was so excited, and I'm still excited. It's just that when I started that one, I knew halfway through or quarter of the way through the bottom, I knew that it wasn't going to fit, and I made myself finish it anyway. And I got all the way up to here, y'all, all the way up to here. And I did another try on, and I was like, this is not fitting. This is actually too small. This does not look like the picture. This is not what I envisioned. And I did all of that work from the bottom all the way up here. And I was just like depressed. And I put it in a bag, and it just stayed in the closet for like a couple of weeks. And then when I finally made the video, I had already frogged it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so depressing. And actually, this was the Instagram post that said, this week I'm talking through the frogging of my beloved dress. I'm clearly much more triggered than I realized, but as of today, well, tonight, I am much better. So that was June 2nd. I am no stranger to the frog, but every once in a while it just hurts different, and this was one of them. And then I just asked you, do you have any feelings of disappointment when you frog an item? I didn't expect to feel that way. I frogged many a thing before, but I think the excitement of it, or the challenge of it, I was so ready to prove that I could do it, and it defeated me. And it defeated me because of my own thought process, because I should have known that it wasn't going to fit. I don't know why I kept going. Anyway, I digress. So in June, apparently, I was on my way to vacation. It was our anniversary. And I started a new project for the road. I took my half and half wrap as my whip, and I cast it on a new project, which I believe that new project was my, was it the Tolsta Tee? No. Hold. Oh, I actually started the Knititude, confidence crop is what she calls it. Confidence crop top. And I didn't make it cropped. I made it long. So it's just a long tank top. And it was the easiest thing ever to knit. Easiest thing ever. Minor shaping, like to get around the bust and up the arm. But other than that, oh my God, it was so easy. And it was so fast because it's literally just stockinette. You do your, I think, 6 rounds of ribbing for the hem, and then stockinette for like miles. And I usually go about 19 inches or so, and then I'll start the bust. Oh, it was a very good choice. And I made 2 of them actually. It'll come up in this timeline at some point. Now I'm seeing in the background of a picture on July 10th, my Tolsta Tee that I did, the yellow one. But I don't have a post about it, so I have no idea what happened. I don't know when I started it, but on July 10th, I was eating a tomato sandwich, baconed tomato sandwich from the summer out of my own garden. But on July 10th, I looked like I was already almost done because I'm looking at a large body with sleeves already separated, so maybe I started it in the middle of spring. I don't know. July 11th, I posted a video, and I have this cardigan. I remember this. I started the Soar cardigan by Kadri, and I started it in this Expressions Fiber Arts chunky yarn. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a really good quality yarn. I want to say it's discontinued now because that's how I got it on sale. But my cord broke and Not to say it was a sign, but I was definitely not feeling it. I think when I put this cardigan on to try it on, it felt very heavy, as it should. It's a chunky yarn, but it felt, I wasn't feeling it. And I think it's because of the color. I have gotten very used to knitting at the very least in a blue or pink or white or yellow or red or something like that, but it was in a gray, and it's a beautiful yarn. Again, it's beautiful, but I felt like as I was working with it, this deserves to be a blanket. This deserves to be a throw, or even a pillow cover for that matter, but it did not feel like it needed to be a cardigan. It just wasn't gonna work. And then I also remembered I test knitted this cardigan for her when it first came out a couple years ago. And I remember choosing the wrong size then, and I chose the wrong size again. It was too big with the amount of ease that's built into it. And so it was giving very much like tent vibes when I put it on. It was just kind of hanging. It was a little too drapey and droopy. So it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So I ended up frogging that. It's actually in the bag. So I started that first confidence crop, the one in that bamboo pop. I started it apparently June 27th. Might have been heading out that day. And then I have a finished one on July 17th. So just a couple of weeks to finish. It's a really easy pattern. I think you should buy that if you get it. If you have an opportunity to get it, you should get it. Then apparently I was about to start a new knitting group. See, look, I finished my Tolsta Tee on July 26th. When did I start the Tolsta Tee? I have no idea, but it was a really good pattern. This pattern, I've tried to wear it a few times, and the yarn has no bounce back. Like, it's 100% Egyptian cotton, good yarn. Like, it feels really good, and it just doesn't wear well. So I don't know what it would actually be good for. Probably a shawl. I feel like it would be better in crochet because it'll have more structure. But it's definitely not good enough for me to wear as a shirt because the weight of the cotton it just pulls it out of shape. But I do actually, I wanted to cast on last night another Tolsta Tee in a different yarn, but I got to finish my dress. I put myself on punishment. I was like, you can't start anything until you finish this dress. So that was the Tolsta Tee. Apparently I finished it July 26th. I must have started it sometime in the beginning of 24. Let's see. What's next? I bought some yarn. Oh, August 19th. So August 19th, I started, if you remember the saga of the first sweater from, was it 2023? I started that sweater in the Happy Place yarn, and the color that I needed ran out. Like, I didn't have any more, and it was no longer in stock. And I was just like, So I ended up getting mad because I was going to like color block it, like do a section of beige and a section of a peachy color. And I was just like, I'm not feeling the way this looks. So I ended up putting that in the bag and frogged it later and called it a day. But then August 19th, I started it again, except I made it as a tee. She being Hive Knits, I don't remember her real name, sorry, but Hive Knits is the designer behind the pattern. She has a first tee as well, and it does not look like the tee that I made because I didn't modify really, I just didn't do a long sleeve, but I did it out of that bamboo fair yarn from Premier, which again, the yarn is really nice. It's extra drapey. Because of that, I should have went down probably 2 sizes because it is extremely stretchable and extremely drapey. Another thing that I think would be better served in a crochet garment or accessory or a shawl, something that, you know, can use a little lightness and airiness. I think it'd be good for that. Not so great for a tank top where you want the straps to not fall apart. So that's my opinion on the yarn. I feel like it washes and wears really well too, by the way, but not for, and then honestly, maybe as I'm thinking about it, I should do some sort of like drop shoulder or a set-in sleeve, some other type of construction other than a raglan, because maybe that will give the structure that I'm looking for on the shoulders. We'll play on that next year. We'll see. August 30th, I started this sweater. This is the Stockinette, Beginner Stockinette Raglan Light. I always say the name wrong, but it's by Knititude. And I started that on August 30th. It did not take long to finish. I think I finished it in a couple of weeks. September 14th, I launched and announced my first ranunculus. So those of you who wanted to make your first ranunculus, I had a group. We had a nice group of ladies. We all got in there. One of the ladies in there was a repeat from my first sweater group, and she actually finished before everybody else, and I was so proud. Go Miss Pat. And I want to say she started another one, I think. But the ranunculus is one of those sweaters. It's by Midori Hirose, or as I call her in my ghetto brain, Midori High Rose, because that's what it looks like. It's one of those patterns that was like an iconic thing that took over the internet. But when you first look at the picture, if you're like me, you'll say, what's the hype behind this sweater? It don't even look that good. The opening pattern page, like the picture that she has, it's very oversized. It's too big for the girl that's in it. And then there was like another picture where it was a plus size model, but it just, I don't know, it just looked extra bulky. It just was not doing it for me. But then you look at the project pages and people were, of course, they were making it smaller. They made it to fit. They made it in different fibers, different colors, different shades. It was beautiful. And long sleeves, short sleeves, cap sleeves, no sleeves. Like, it was so many variations. I think to date it was like 25,000 projects on Ravelry, not including the people who, like myself, who've made more than one, or those who have, you know, made the pattern and never told anyone about it. Like, that's a lot of pattern making. So that's a good first pattern to get into if you're interested in lace work for the first time, because it has a nice little lacy motif thing going on right here. It also gives you a nice intro into short rows. It has short rows on the front side and on the back side. The front side is like that many short rows, and on the back it's like that many. So it gives it a nice fit. It's really a well-written pattern. I really, really like it. And when I did my second one, I made it in beige. Excuse me, I made it in black because that's what I wanted. On September 19th, apparently, I have another shawl that I'm making for my best friend's mother. She has been threatening me for years at this point. How are you making all this stuff and you never made nothing for me? And I'm like, I made you a pair of slippers. She was like, you made me those slippers when you didn't know how to knit, so that doesn't count. And I was like, okay, you got that. So I'm making her a shawl. I still haven't finished it. September 19th. It's sitting right there. I'm on the last section of the repeat. But like I said, I have these deadlines that I put on myself, and I gotta finish this dress. Like, I'm too close to the end to not finish. So everything else is just taking a back seat. Also, because that pattern requires like different stitches happening on different rows, it's not something that I can knit on while I'm working, because I kind of need to pay attention. So haven't really finished it yet, but it's over there. It's at my desk. I'm getting to a point where I might be able to do at least 2 knit rows and then put it down. So Mama Mary, you will get your shawl shortly. Okay, so the 20th of October, is when I restarted this Hjarta Dress. So we are heading in right now. I think we are in week 10. So 10 weeks ago, I have documented for you every week whatever progress I've made for that week. And I have to say, I am pretty proud of myself. I am pretty proud that, one, I stuck to the recording, because that is not my favorite thing to do when I'm trying to power through a project. Two, because I'm recording, it held me very accountable. So thank you. Thank you for coming back every week to watch whatever little progress I make. Three, it taught me that a remake is not a bad idea if you go into it with a better mindset. And when I went into this, let me tell you what I wrote. I made an adult knitter decision to frog a dress that was more than halfway done because I wasn't happy with my size choice and the fit. So I'm revamping my dress, documenting it from day one to completion, and here's the plan from week 1. So that was in the video. So the dress, if you don't know, it's like, and it's gonna be the story of all stories on this channel. It's the Hjarta Dress. It is a Shetland Trader Pimpom Publishing edition book pattern situation, and I love the colors that I chose. I chose a navy for the body instead of the beige. I have like 2 beigey colors and a pink for the wavy accent colors. And I decided, of course, to do the long sleeves, but I want to do a turtleneck, but I'm kind of thinking that I won't have enough time to do that. So we're just gonna do like a mock, well, I might just do like this, just this kind of neck, and then I'll take it out after the date that I need it, and then I'll probably put the turtleneck on. But I am low-key kind of concerned about the heat factor. It is 100% wool, you see. Oh, it's 7:56. I got to get to work. All right, hold on. Let me see. I haven't really worked on anything else, so after that, we should be at the end. Oh, last thing I did was my pink blanket. Do you remember that fuzzy pink blanket? I started that November 22nd, and I finished it last week. I think I finished it last week. I was getting ready to say, did I finish that in a week? No, I said November 22nd, so I finished it in a month. Took 4 weeks to finish. And then, yeah, everything else after this is pretty much sales. Oh, December 1st, apparently I started that blue cable sweater. So now we're moving up into real time. So if you just recently found the channel, this is more real time stuff. So November 1st, December 3rd, I posted an update on the blue sweater. So things are moving along well. I finished Audrey's sweater December 6th. That Cable Crush hoodie, so that was finished on December 6th. December 14th, which was just a couple weeks ago, I finished the full body and I started on the sleeves. And I can't wait to show you the progress that I've made in week 10. So that is it for the recap of 2024. I'm gonna pause right here. The next time, the next clip will be my after effect, my what do I want to do into 2025, but I got to log in for work. It's 7:56. I'm late. See you in a minute. All right, so I am still at work, but it is not busy, and I don't have an interview for about a half an hour, so I figured I can kind of knock this last part out because it's not going to be that long. What are my goals for 2025? I feel like I don't have that many, but I do have a goal to not be so wasteful. I feel like I've spent a lot of money this year on patterns to be supportive, of course, which is never a bad thing. But as I look at my Ravelry queue, I realize I have sweaters that are very similar, constructions that are very similar, and it's not so much that it is a waste, it's just that the differences between some of these patterns, I could do this on my own. Like, there's a sweater that I have that has a 2x2 ribbing on the neck and the cuff and the hem, and everything else in the middle is just a raglan. I could have used my Tolsta Tee and modified that as a, you know, same thing. Sorry, the cat was knocking at the door. So what was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, too many patterns. I feel like that is something that I want to focus on into the new year. I feel like there's no reason to keep buying such basic modifications within a pattern, and it doesn't always justify purchasing a whole new pattern for that. So I would like to tap into my own creativity in knowing what I know and making the change, just kind of freestyling the pattern and modifying it how I see fit. So that would be one thing I'd like to challenge myself in doing. Something else I would like to try and get into is color work. I've never been a real big fan of color work, even in regular purchase clothing, like busy designs and stuff. Just give me a plain sweater. I'm okay with that. A variegated yarn would be about as busy as I'd like. But maybe I'll find some inspiration throughout the year looking at other project photos and things. Really loving the cables, so I would like to do some more cable sweaters. I think that would be really nice. What else? I guess as far as like knitting skill goes, that's pretty much it. Honestly, I have this big, do you remember that interweave books they used to do, and they put out like 100 patterns, 100 interweave patterns or Vogue knitting patterns, whatever. So I have a book and it has 100 patterns in it, and I feel like I bought that book for inspiration. I looked through it. Now I will say some of the patterns are not, they don't go up to my size, so I can't make them, but others do, and they're pretty, you know. So I think as far as like basic shaping goes, yarn choice could make it look different. Bigger needle size could probably stretch the gauge just a little bit. So that might be something to consider doing, kind of working from these resources that I already have. I have plenty of knitting books here, so there's no reason why I shouldn't at least try, right? So maybe that'll be something I look into, really using the books that I have and make sweaters instead of buying new patterns. I bought a whole book that has maybe 15 patterns and I made one, but I do like 3 others, but I've never made them. So that'll be something that I think I can look into for the new year, just using what you have in a way. Then I think, okay, one thing I want to do for sure is start my winter dress early. I think I'm gonna start my winter dress in September, even though next year's dress is going to be a chunky dress, so it won't take that long anyway. I do want to get in the habit of starting that dress earlier, so that way I can impulsively cast on in November, December without feeling the strain of hustling through December to get it finished for the new year. So that's something I got to remember to do. I'll put it on my calendar. Start winter dress September 1st or somewhere around there. So what am I proud of this year? One of the things that I'm most proud of is that I stuck with YouTube. I felt like this was something that I always felt like was going to fall by the wayside because it got too hard. It was only becoming hard when I was trying to reach YouTube's goals, or whatever their levels are. When I took that out of my mind, it became fun again. And I really do look forward to just recording and documenting what I'm working on, how I feel, the fails, okay, what's the opposite of fails? Wins. Like, it's really nice to finally say I finished this thing that almost defeated me, or to say, like with this dress, that but I was able to go ahead and do it again and I succeeded. So that's just a personal accomplishment. I love this feeling. This feeling is going really well. I'm also really looking forward to finishing this dress in 2024. 2025. It'd be nice to finish it in 5 days? 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 5 days? I don't think so, but it'd be nice. Other things I'd like to focus on, having more workshops for beginner knitters. I feel like I have my best times with people who don't know how to knit and they want to learn and they're so eager. You're my people. You're the ones that I look forward to finding in the new year, to find you and convert you into a brand new knitter. I can't wait for that. All right, sorry, I had to pause and go get my cat out. She was knocking at the door. Okay, not knocking, but she came up on the door. So I don't remember what I was saying, but I think I was talking about YouTube and its metrics and all that. So I do enjoy just kind of capturing what I'm doing, the wins and the losses. It's just it's nice to be able to share with people who get it, and that's that. And think the other thing I was talking about was just finding beginner knitters to be able to work with you. I would like to put on more workshops. The thing is, into 2025, all of them will not be free. And that's kind of a sticky area for me because I enjoy it that much that I don't mind not charging. But I'm also on this quest to be able to reduce work hours and become more self-sustainable. So I have to start somewhere. So at some point there will be some charges, but they're very minimal to start, of course, because you're not getting the finished product. Now, I've taught many a person to knit already virtually during COVID, which I got to tell you, when I first did the first person, I was shocked that it worked. And then I did the second person and it worked too. So I don't question my ability to be able to do it. I just question whether or not I'm ready to branch out into the unknown world. Like, these were both friends of mine that we already had a rapport going. So sometimes I feel like with this channel, you all know me because you see me each week, but I don't get the opportunity to know you unless it's like through comments and emails and things like that, which I still, of course, very much appreciate. So that'll be something to look forward to into the new year. So think about it. If you're a beginner, or even if there's something that you want to learn and I put out a workshop for it, maybe it's something you might want to sign up for, and we can kind of build on your knitting skills as we both are learning, because I'm not an expert. I'll tell you in a heartbeat, I am not an expert, but I do my due diligence in trying to understand what's going on in a pattern, and I'll make it, and now I can understand and teach it because I've done it already, if that makes sense. So that's something else that I think I want to look into doing more of next year. Gotta build my website. I gotta understand this SEO thing. If you're good with that, could you let me know? You hear the cats fighting, right? Like, this is an everyday thing with these two. So if you know anything about SEO optimization, please help a girl out, because I don't understand it. I don't know why she's being this. Well, actually, I do know why. I need to go get her fixed. She's a little hyper aggressive right now. Yeah, so I need to do something with this website. Got to figure out how to, get it found. I feel like engagement is very low, but I'm okay with it. But I would like it to be better into the new year. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, but I want to see the results of my efforts, if that doesn't sound too whatever. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like I put a lot of effort and thought into everything that I do. So I would like for the benefits to kind of roll in a little bit, even if it is just in higher numbers online. So I think as far as like future plans for the year, that's pretty much it. I just want to get to know more of you. I want to grow my channel, grow this little knitting hub of community that I have, become a better knitter, become a better teacher, find new patterns. Yeah, that's it, and have fun. Like, I really just want to keep enjoying the process, which I think is part of the reason why I'm scared to over push and make it a job, because I really do enjoy it and I don't want to lose the joy from it. So, but anyway, that's it. 2025 is on the way. We got 5 days. I am going to put out the update for this week in a couple of days, so you'll see me again. This was a very impromptu last minute decision to do. I was going to try to blend it all together with the update, but figured it deserved its own space. So thank you for clicking, watching, coming along for the ride. It's been a wonderful 2024. As you saw, I didn't complete a whole lot, but I did learn a whole lot, which is great. And I'm looking forward to some good choices in the new year and some better successes and more lessons learned. So have a great rest of your work week. If you are still off because of this whole holiday season, I hope you enjoy it and knit something well. Also, check all of my Linktree links. There's still sales out there. Now that people have gotten their gifts and all of that, people have now gift cards to go spend. Knitpicks is having a 25% off luxury item sale, and Premier Yarns, I think I told you that earlier, is having like acrylic yarns that are like $2. So my Arctic like sweater is made out of that Premier DK, Basics DK, and it's $2.24. Resisting the urge very strongly to not buy some more. So yeah, check them all out. You never know, there's probably good sales going, probably free shipping, especially into the new year. So have fun with that, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye.